So this is Blurple. I bought it for $200. Sold the canopy off of it for $300. So they basically paid me $100 to take it from them. It's got some rust. It came from like Oklahoma or something. It's ugly. It's two-wheel drive. It's way too tall. So we'll be giving it an altitude adjustment, dropping it probably 4 inches in the front, and we're frame notching and doing probably 7 inches in the rear. When I bought it, it had a muffler on it that was like this long, and so I cut the muffler off like almost 2 years ago, and never put it back on like I planned on because I stole the muffler for something else. So that's what we're doing today, is we're putting the muffler back on it. It's just like cut off after the cats, and I've been told it sounds like methamphetamines, whatever that means. So yeah, check it out. This little piece right here, and the piece on the fender on the other side, but I mean, fenders are replaceable, so not too worried about that. We're in the Pacific Northwest, so in the inland, when we're not really by the coast, we don't really get a lot of rust, so generally not something we have to worry about around here. So we're just checking the old ride height, and to the bottom of that bumper, looks like we're about just over 4 beer cans. For the front, it looks like almost 5 beer cans. So I'm waiting on a adapter for the exhaust to work, because I ordered all these parts like 2 years ago and I lost one of them or something. So I'm just going to start on lowering it, and step one in that is to get the wheels off, and we're going to mock up the frame notch plates and see how much stuff we have to cut out. So now that I have these U-joint straps off, we're going to pull this off. When you get that out, take some tape and wrap it around these U-joint caps, because otherwise they'll fall off and you'll lose all the little needle bearings, and you'll never find them, and you'll have to get a new U-joint, and it sucks. So just throw some tape to hold the caps on. And then I'm just going to use this big zip tie around something up here. It pulls it up out of the way, and then we can drop these front leaf spring bolts out, finish cutting the old U-bolts off. A little bit of 20-year-old, 30-year-old crust on the frame here. This is a 97. I just got rust in my mouth. That was cool. Here I'm just taking some hangers off, little clips off the back of the frame that hold some fuel lines and some brake lines, because we're going to be cutting right where those are, and we obviously don't want to cut through fuel lines. So another awesome part about working on 30-year-old trucks is rust, and that's the old brake line, and I took that clip off so I could move it out of the way, and as soon as I touched it, it just broke through the old rusty brake line. which is super sweet because it's behind the fuel tank. But luckily, there is a union right there. That's going to be a bear to get to, but I don't think I have to drop the gas tank. But now I have to buy more parts, so that's cool. This old bump stop is held on with a couple of studs and 15mm bolts or nuts from the top side. So I'm going to take those off now that everything's covered in 30-year-old brake fluid. That's pretty sweet. So this is one of the shock bolts, and it's stuck in here. So I saw this thing where you just grab the socket. Ow. Yeah, it was supposed to fall out, but it didn't, so. There you go. You look scary? Look at that. Well, look how big it should be.
Is it worth it to actually do this or not?
Yeah, that's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like that. These are the Amazon C-notch plates. They're just a piece of C-notch that you clamp over the frame. You mark where you need to cut the frame. Cut it out. This reinforces the frame. And they say it's stronger once you weld it in than it was before. I don't know if that's true. Don't really care either. I'll probably weld it. So, but the bolts come with it, and they're basically to hold everything in place until you can weld it. So, off camera, because I only have two hands, we pulled the front bolt out of the leaf springs and had to cut all the U-bolts because it's gross and rusty, and had the wheels on, rolled it forward, lifted it up so the springs could fall back down, rolled the axle back under it. So it's bolted up with the new kit, and I'll show you in a second. But now we're putting the C-notch on, which is just this kit I got off Amazon, and just kind of found where I wanted it to line up with the axle tube so that it has somewhere to go when we put it back on its own weight. So it's marked out here, and you just have to cut it out. Bracket that lets you put the spring under the axle without having to cut that top perch off. So that's as far as we really got today, is cut the frame out, put some weld-through primer behind it, bolted the C-notch plates in, and so it's ready to go under its own weight. The shocks are too long, and there's some kind of lame like extension brackets that we're not going to use because it's going to be like lower than the diff. So got some air shocks coming, and so next episode you'll see it on the ground.